We're live. It's Pete Cohen. It's day 2, 5-day Kickstart plan. Happy, beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me. What is going on behind me? Well, we will be looking at that today. I first off just want to thank you for being here. Let us know where you are in the world, and don't be a stranger. Be active. Do not be passive, because passiveness, is that a disease? Is that a word, actually, passiveness? Let's let as many people find this broadcast as possible. It's amazing that you're here. Why are you here? I don't mean on Earth. I mean, why are you here today? No, I do mean, why are you here on Earth? That's a great place to start. Do you not think? Why are you here on Earth? We will officially start this broadcast in a few moments. Let a few people come in. Hey, come in, come on, join the party. Hey, what do you got to do to get a cup of coffee around here, huh? I've already had 2 cups of coffee today. I feel like I want to have another one, but I'm not going to, because I don't need coffee. I am high on my own supply. Welcome to the show, because this really is a show. It is 5 days. It is a kick start. And most of us, we seriously need a kick, don't you think? Not literally a kick, but that's one of the things I want to look at today, why we need kick starts. So feel free to like, feel free to comment, and feel free to say whatever it is that you want, because take this as your opportunity to get a coach. I've been coaching people from a very, very young age. I think I first started coaching people when I was about 11 or 12 years old. Believe it or not, I was actually coaching people, younger people, how to play cricket of all sports. And then when I was 19, I became a fitness coach. And then I moved into the world of psychology. I've written 19 books on personal and professional development. I've worked all over the world, helping people just like you literally close the gap between the person that they're being and the person they are capable of being, with their health, their relationships, their wealth, their finances, their teams, the people they work with. Because we know, don't we, that a great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't. I really don't think it does. I think it happens by design. And this is one of the things that we spoke about yesterday. I want to do just a quick recap of yesterday. But before I do, tell me right now, where are you in the world? If you're watching this live, press 1. If you're watching this on a record, press 2. It sounds like we're on the phone, okay? But this is real. And I'd love to know what is wildly important to you. Yesterday, we asked some really, really big questions, some really important questions around something I think is so important. And this is what I said. Please listen really carefully to this, because this could be a huge wake-up call for you, which is this. If you went back 5 years ago and you could see the future of your life now and see where you are today, is this where you want to be? Now, I don't know what goals you had 5 years ago, whether you had goals around your health and what sort of shape you wanted to be in. Maybe you had goals with your income, the work that you would be doing, things in your life maybe you wanted to do with the house, just things that you wanted to achieve. If you look back now, like I said, are you where you want to be? And most people would probably say, no, I'm not. And I asked those questions yesterday, and you'll see those questions in this post. If you haven't answered them, or if you have, just do them again, because this is a unique opportunity right now for us to do something pretty amazing, right? Right now in our life, you and I have this incredible chance, this incredible opportunity to make some different choices. And this is what I want to show you how to do. I want to show you how to be unstoppable. Is anyone interested in being unstoppable? Unstoppable in what? Whatever you really choose to go after. Because human beings, we're pretty interesting beings, don't you think? I think we're pretty fascinating. I'm still as fascinated with human beings as I ever have been. But the difference between human beings and most other things out there is the examples I like to use, the acorn that falls from the tree. What does that rely on in order for it to grow? Well, nature. It requires on nature. We require on nature as well. Obviously, without nature, we're not here. But it requires on nature to take its course. What does the cat need in order for a kitten to become a cat? It needs instinct. Human beings, we need instinct, we need nature, but human beings, what separates us from all other beings is choices, right? It is the choices we make. And I know, Pete, you're going, Pete, I know what you're saying, Pete. Yeah, but so what? Well, if you could look back at your life and think, am I now where I wanted to be 5 years ago? Very few people would. Yesterday, I was listening to Jim Carrey. I'm a big fan of Jim Carrey. I think he's very funny. I think what he stands for is amazing. And he's always been into what he would call visioneering, using his brain to see what it is that he wants to manifest. Some of you know this story. He was on Oprah Winfrey. He was also on the Graham Norton show talking about this, how when he was an actor that really wasn't doing very well, right? He was playing a movie in his mind. He used to drive up to one of the hills in Hollywood, and he would imagine himself performing in great films. He even wrote himself a check for $10 million, put a date on it for acting services rendered, and he cashed that check a few days before that date when he was paid $10 million to be in the film Dumb and Dumber, right? Now, why am I telling you this? What do you think is the difference between you and Jim Carrey? Apart from the fact that he's probably got more money than you and maybe he's a bit funnier than you. I don't know. I don't know everyone that's watching this right now. What he did is he applied a set of principles. He applied a set of ideals, because what most of us are looking for is a shortcut for success. Now, if I wave my magic wand, I reckon that you want to make changes in certain areas, right? If we could wave the magic wand, you'd want more health, more energy, more vibrancy, a stronger body, more flexibility. You probably want to have better relationships with the people that matter most to you. And you probably want to improve your work or your wealth, right? So many people are just looking for the magic bullet. Many people want it done for them. And last night I was doing a coaching webinar with my coaching community, Mi365 Elite Pro. And one of my people who I work with basically was explaining how it's hard for us to want to get better and grow, because our natural state is just to be comfortable. You know, your forefathers struggled to create this life. They went out, they worked, they hunted, they did what they had to do for us to settle, because we're settlers, right? We were hunter-gatherers, but now we don't need to go out and hunt and gather. We can just literally click on Amazon Prime and sit and watch Netflix. So our ability to be comfortable is killing us, because there's a part of us that only improves through movement and working towards things. So we're almost fighting against our own nature. But this is where I ask you to really think about where you were 5 years ago, where you are now. Are you happy with where you are? You know, are there still things that you want to do to fight against part of your nature that wants you to stay put, because the other part of you wants you to grow and express and develop and learn and improve and achieve, because we are what the Greeks called teleological. We need goals. We need targets, things to aim at. Does this make sense? Because what I want to do over the next few days is give you a plan. But before I give you a plan, I need you to answer some of those questions. Yesterday, it's really important that we just become aware. Because if we're not aware, what do you think happens? History repeats itself. And if we don't stop and think, whoa, I need to make some different choices here, because if I don't, in 5 years' time, well, you might not be here anymore. In 5 years' time, if you're here, you're probably going to be in a similar place to where you are now, but maybe a few pounds heavier. Now, with what's going on in the world right now, I don't know whether you're looking at it and thinking now is the time to rethink, reshape, remodel, reevaluate. Many people are. They're rethinking the world that they're in. Many of them haven't got a choice. Many people don't have a job now, right? Though they don't know if they will have a job. I know so many people right now, they've been furloughed. I didn't even know what that word meant. And now we're talking about, what's another word my wife told me yesterday? I thought, I've never heard of that word. These are new words, but they're becoming more and more popular. What do you want to do? Let's look at this, right? Because it's the goal. Is the goal. Just say yes or no, or yes or yes. If the goal is to be unstoppable in certain areas, you want to be unstoppable with your health and energy. What I mean by that is you don't even have to think about it anymore because it's just a habit. It's not something you start. It's not something you stop. It's something you just do. Yes or yes. Come on, we all want that, right? And what about your relationships? Would you like to have those principles in place, those habits in place that make sure you're the person that you want to be to your friends and your family? Again, we all want it. Do you want to be unstoppable here? Do you want to be the best you've ever been in those areas? And the same with your wealth and your work and your service. It's just a question whether you want to step forwards into growth or back into safety. So for me, there's 7 steps. And this is the first step. You want the first step, be unstoppable. Okay, are you ready for me to reveal the next part of this, right? It's momentum, right? The first step is if you want to be unstoppable, you've got to have momentum. You know what momentum is, right? I mentioned this yesterday. You know, Newton, I don't remember very much about school. For me, school was a complete waste of time. Absolutely complete way. I learned nothing apart from combien de poissons y a-t-il dans la famille, which means how many fish are there in your family, or what else did I just learned the bubonic plague. I don't know why I remember that, but anyway, I remember leaving school and then becoming interested in certain principles like physics, that an object at rest stays at rest until a force is put upon it. If a force in motion, an object is in motion, it tends to stay in motion. And most of us want momentum, right? That makes sense. Yeah, I want to be if I want to be unstoppable, I've got to have some momentum. So what's the next thing? So the next thing, you've got to be consistent, right? I mean, again, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? It's pretty obvious that there are certain things. Most of us just want a quick fix with so many things, right? This is why when I wrote the international best-selling book, Habit Busting, that was published in multiple languages. Here, let me show you this. Right? This book was written in 2003, published in so many languages, because people just want to bust the habit, but they want it done for them as opposed to them doing it themselves. If we're not consistent with certain things, and really this word is fascinating because when we talk about the consistency of something, it's something which is held together. What holds things together, right? It's routines, right? There's no question about it. You can't bypass this. There is absolutely no way of bypassing this. And this is really important that you get this message, right? There is no quick fix. There is no magic formula to creating the life you want, right? It's just a series of principles, a series of foundational things that if they're done consistently over an extended period of time, the compound effect takes over. The best way I can explain the compound effect to you is like this. Ready? Here we go. I've got it. I'm coming back totally unprepared for today. Not a chance. I've been up since 4 this morning. Right, here you go. 1p. Who wants 1p? 1p. I will give you this 1p and I will double this every single day for a month. Or right now, I will give you £5 million in cash. I know we've got people watching this from all over the world. So dollars, whatever you want, whatever the best currency is. A penny or 5 million right now. Which one do you want? Tell me which one you want. Now, most people would just say, well, give me the 5 million. Well, if you really looked at the maths, and this is where it gets really interesting, if I gave you a penny after 5 days, 10 days, you still wouldn't have much money, even after 15 days. But after 31 days, if I doubled this penny every single day, how much money do you think you'd have? I'll tell you in a moment. So you understand, right? Routines. If you want to be unstoppable, there are simple routines that are unsexy, that are boring, that are mundane. But you know what? If you do something that's mundane for an extended period of time, the compound effect takes over and you can become unstoppable. But again, you know, it's all about, you got to have routines, but they're things that you have to repeat, right? If you don't repeat certain things, what do you think happens? We either move forwards into growth or back into safety. Forwards into growth or back into safety. The natural state of your garden is decay. The natural state of your garden is for weeds to grow. And unless you repeat certain things, my father-in-law has been mowing the lawn, and he knows that if he mows it every week, it gets easier and easier to do. He's repeating something. He's not letting it get out of hand. So what else do we need to do? I'm really sorry. I am so sorry to bring that word on there, because let's face it, we live in a world now where people don't want to work. 9% of people, apparently, from a study a few days ago, say they don't want to go back to how things were a few weeks ago before the shutdown started. I don't want it to go back the way that it was, because I think we were really living in a very unhealthy way and not really thinking about what's important and taking the time to appreciate what we have and rethinking, reshaping, reformatting. So this is where most of us give up, because we don't feel like doing things. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. If you want to kickstart, remember the word kickstart comes from a motorcycle. And literally 1928, that's when the word was started to be used. A jump start, a kickstart, to get something going. And that's what I want to help you do this week. But you need to understand certain principles. What do you think this one says? Any ideas as to what that says? The number one, the most important thing. Oh, by the way, make sure if someone ever offers you that, you say, a month, how many days in a month? Make sure you ask for 31 days. Because after 31 days of doubling this penny every single day, on the 31st day, you'd have 10,700,000 and a few dollars. Who's counting? That is the law of compounding. And that is what Mi365 is all about. It's about 365ing. It's about doing something every single day. That is what our whole thing is about. That's what our journal is about. Because if this is worth doing, it has to be worth recording. It's boring, it's mundane, but it's amazing at the same time, because nothing tastes better than developing yourself. Any ideas as to what this says? I'm just looking up what this says. Someone's saying rituals. What else do you say? It's great to see 65 people watching right now in our Facebook group, in our private Facebook group. You want to see what it says? It's choices, right? It is choices. Choices in what to do and choices what not to do. And in many cases, it's new choices, right? So what I'd like you to do today, because I'd like you to do some work. Sorry if I have to ask you to do some work. It's fun, right? I mean, this is such a fun thing to go to work on yourself. If you go and work in the garden, it's not easy. It's hard, and it gives you that wonderful feeling for doing something that was difficult. And that's where human beings seem to really flourish. So what I want to say to you is this: please answer those questions that are in this description, okay? In this post. Take some time today, to think about that. Are you where you want to be? And if not, why not? What are the choices that you made 5 years ago that have got you to this point? The choice to start things and not finish them. The choice to get distracted. The choice to, things happen. Maybe things happen that you didn't necessarily choose. They happen that were totally out of your control. But right now, guys, we've got this incredible opportunity, like never before, to revolutionize our life. So please answer those questions and think about the area. I've asked the question, which areas of your life do you want to be unstoppable? This afternoon at 4 p.m., I'm going to be going live in the Mi365 Kickstart Facebook group, because we are officially launching today. This is just a warm-up. Officially launching Mi365 Kickstart. What is Mi365 Kickstart? It's your opportunity to join a global revolution of like-minded people who are going from a life of chance to an extraordinary life by design. You want to design your life. You want to be unstoppable. That's what you want. You've got to get some momentum. Momentum with what? Some momentum with some choices. You've got to get some momentum with some work. You need to repeat a few things. Have some routines and rituals. Be consistent with them, especially when you don't feel like it. And then all of a sudden, you are unstoppable. This is the work I've been doing for a long time with athletes who want to win and have won Olympic gold medals, world champions in other sports. And this is your sport. This is your game, the game of life. These games that we're playing with our health and our energy. How's that going for you? The games with your relationships, with your friends, your family, your children, and your work and your service. You know, I'm all about giving people solutions in these areas, but I can't do the work for you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today. We're about to take things to a whole new level. I just want to see here if we have any questions. Feel free, especially if you're in the Facebook group. You know, a lot of people join Facebook groups and it's like, oh, I'm in a group now. Listen, we don't want this to be a group. This is your opportunity to show up and share and be a part of a tribe of people who are growing and kick-starting every single day. We want to help you like you wouldn't believe. Sometimes I think I want to help people more than they actually want to help themselves. But I think part of that is I just know what you're capable of. I've seen people do the most amazing things. Just looking at your comments here. Great to see you here. Eddie McAvoy, Scott, Victoria. Paul Healy is in the house. Wow. What an amazing guy that guy is. Helped me in so many ways. You can't even put it into words. Someone who's always looked out for me because we all need each other. Linda Williams, Chris Patch is in the house. Elaine Jews. You know, we all need help. Thank you for being here. Answer those questions. Just answer the questions, right? This isn't a joke. This isn't a rehearsal. This is the real thing, you know? So, and I know that you guys have got something left in the basement, right? We'll make sure we pin this post at the top every day because I'm not broadcasting. I'm just in the private group here. Anyway, thank you so much. Any questions before we say goodbye? How can we remove our self-limiting beliefs? Oi, that's a big question. How can we remove our self-limiting beliefs? I love it when people ask me questions like that because, you know, in my head I'm going, well, what are the self-limiting beliefs that you have? That's the first thing, because everyone has self-limiting beliefs. What is a belief? Does anyone know what a belief actually is? It's funny because I'm working with a whole series of fitness business owners at the moment, and I'm teaching them how to teach a 6-week course on mindset. And today it's all about belief. And a belief is basically something that you see, right? It's something that you see. So no one is born believing anything. We are born with a complete blank canvas, right? You don't believe in good or bad. You don't believe in right and wrong. You don't believe there are starving children in the world. You don't believe you should say bless you when someone sneezes. You don't believe in God. You know, you don't believe in anything. So you learn to believe things through growing up. But ultimately, a belief is something that you see. So are you a man? Scott, are you a man? Do you believe that? How do you know you're a man? How do you know you're a woman? Do you believe the sun comes up every single day? You do, right? Well, it doesn't anyway. The sun never comes up. The sun doesn't move. The earth moves around, but you believe it because you see it. So a belief is something that we see, and it's something that we feel. It's something we experience. How do we let go of a belief? That's a good question. I think there are a few different ways of doing that, but I suppose ultimately it's deciding who it is that we want to become. What it is that we really want. Because if we don't make full commitments to things, I'm really glad that you said this, really glad, and thank you. Because the challenge that a lot of you have right now here is listening to me and thinking, this is interesting stuff. Thank you. But to really make a commitment to this, to be unstoppable, it has to be 100%. You cannot do this 99%, because if you leave some 99%, you always leave open to 1% of doubt, 1% of 1% of just letting an idea fester that maybe this isn't worth it. 1% of just get distracted. When was the last time, Scott, that you made a 100% commitment to something? Because once you fully commit to something, there's no room for self-doubt. To go all in on something is something most of us are a little bit scared to do. And maybe we'll talk more about that. It's a really good question, and I'd like to explore that more over the time. Thank you so much, everyone. Please remember that this is it for this week. This is it. No more live broadcasts. Well, we'll broadcast every Monday morning and every Tuesday afternoon. Make the most of this 5-day kickstart. Once a month, we're probably going to do a kickstart for you guys. But get involved, get stuck in, because the world needs all of us to show up and be examples and stop being passive, start being active in the world that we live in. So what's been your biggest takeaway from today? Please comment, let me know. If I can help you, let me know. Have a great day. Love to all.